Welcome to another exciting episode of the $1 Million Peddlers. I'm Paper Guy.
And I'm Mr. Magazine.
And it's the Hump Day Happy Hour Salute.
Yeah, like always.
Show number 19. Can you imagine that?
And counting.
Yes. And today we enjoyed, would that be the right word?
Yeah, I guess if like my nostrils just opened up and strong liquid went through it.
Pour gasoline up your nostrils. It's wonderful. Nika Grain Whiskey, straight from Japan.
More like nickel-cadmium whiskey.
Nice. And I want to give a shout out to a good friend of the channel, Primetime Treasure Hunter, with his live show After Hours. Check him out today. I will not check him out after hours, but I may watch this one tomorrow. He's got Thrift Shop Hustler on an interview, and they're going to be talking about NFTs.
Wow, NFTs.
Yeah, I don't know very much about NFTs myself. Yeah. You know what those are, right?
Tricky.
Hey, you don't know what those are.
You don't know what they are.
I know they're a way to spend a lot of money.
All right.
It looks like a bunch of people are here already.
Yes. Well, let's see. We're going to go back to the beginning. Aaron Kludge is in the house. What's up, buddy? Thrifty, healthy, and happy is healthy and early. She's just Dawn. She's here. She's laying it down. We have Diverse Ventures. Thomas Gardner's in the house. And Angela H. How's it going? Oh, hold on. 1987 Ventures. Tracy. Hello.
Quick thing to Don before we get started. Somebody reached out to me today via eBay from Canada, and they had some questions to me about shipping from Canada and also to Canada and that sort of thing. And I know Don does a lot of shipping from Canada down here, so I said, hey, check her out in the, she's usually in the live feed and all that. Yeah. So I think he has some questions about economical ways to ship from Canada. So if he does contact you, if you can help him out, would definitely appreciate that. I know.
And one thing to say, is it hot in here or is it just me? Woof!
It's getting hot in here.
It's definitely getting hot in here. Holy crow.
I think it's that whiskey. I think it's doing a number on you there. Yeah. Last week's show was a good show as always. Had a lot of fun. It turned out to be a pretty good topic. Tonight's topic, which you always ask me about 30 seconds before showtime. Yeah. Hey, what are we talking about tonight?
I'm winging it. You've been studying all week.
I've got my Cliff's notes and everything, sir. Do you put a quote on yourself or your employees when listing, and how many items an hour? So you just think about that.
You gotta get me involved. Yep. I think about it every day. Trust me.
I'm sure that you do.
That's why my hair is gray. Well, that in marriage.
Hey now. And I want to thank everybody who shares their buys and all that, and contact us via Instagram, et cetera, et cetera. It's a lot of fun talking to everybody, seeing what they're picking up and all that kind of thing. A lot of good comments on the videos also, and pick up a lot of good ideas from them. So that's good.
Cool.
And it's time for the shameless plug. Thanks to everybody that does use the affiliate links. To anybody who doesn't know how that works, every video we put up, we have a little write-up about what the video is about. And I try to spend a little bit of time explaining what the video is about there to make it a little bit interesting and get you to click on it. Down beneath that, we have a lot of affiliate links to various items on eBay and Amazon. Just click on the link. You don't have to purchase the item that's pictured. It's just a way to get to the site, either eBay or Amazon. Anything you purchase during that visit, we may get a commission back on, and we definitely do appreciate it.
I was able to get home. My car was on empty the other night, and I had $3. And
there you go.
I got home.
You used the link to buy gas?
Well,
you're still waiting for it to get delivered.
I used a check you gave me last week to buy gas.
You're still waiting for your post office to deliver that.
Exactly. Yeah. All right, Eric's in the house like every week. How's it going? Joe Losi, he's here early, it looks like. Ralph Funk. All right, a little brand new funk in the house.
There you go.
And Michelle Trout, like always.
Nice. Got any?
Let's see what Don's had to say.
Oh, going up and down sharply.
We'll
call him over.
I like to say that's what someone said, but it's a clean show, so I won't say that.
I will. Here, you run the show for 30 seconds. Let me grab that.
Right. 29, 28. Oh, yeah, I'm sure it's in the house. What's going on? I am not sure what's going on. In case, I'm sure wanted to know what's going on. Linda Wyatt's in the house. 21, 20.
Nice. All right.
Are we still going up and down sharply?
We have a random neighborhood kid on his way here.
Anyone?
To check it out.
Euler?
Exactly. Any buys or this week?
Some buys. I picked up a local lady whose husband passed away. He had collected.
You picked her up? Nice.
I did not pick her up yet, but she was cute. Anywho, He had a large model collection, and they were all sealed. So she brought over like 30 of them from the 70s and 80s. I worked out a deal. She was worried she was going to get
the volume was going up and down.
RNK. That's your new, nickname.
Oh. Technical difficulties.
Well, I can keep talking.
Go ahead.
Let him do his thing. So anyway, she had about 30 models. She was worried she was going to take advantage of. I made her an offer, and she said it was more than fair, and then she's going to bring more in. So
nice.
It does work out well when you're fair with people.
Very good. How are sales?
Well, they're what I expect, which is down and steadily down. Obviously, the two reasons would be, well, three. Let's say it's the season for sales being down. It is all the adult stuff is gone, so that's mostly gone. So that's reason number two. And reason number three, I lost my two best listers. I think we found out they're actually moving out of town to be with her fiance's family.
Okay.
So that's I'm hurting a little bit, but we're getting by. I've got some new listers. I'm trying to get them in the listing zone, I call it, and we'll see how that's going to work out in the next few weeks.
Nice.
Dawn said it's not horrible. She can hear us. Well, I know you'll be able to hear Paperboy anywhere he is on the planet. Him and my wife have that voice.
I've been noticing sales are they're pretty much the same week after week right now.
I'm pretty steadily average. I'm gonna call it.
That's actually a really good way to put it. Today's sales are really low. I think I've only sold 3 items today, but the rest of the week was just slightly stronger than last week. So it's one of those. It's going to average out in the end of the week.
I will say this, and I may be repeating myself from last week, but my non-adult magazines are definitely up. We're not at the record pace, but we're definitely 50, 60 a day, which is definitely more. So again, it may be that algorithm where eBay wants me to be at a certain level of sales. It's a low level, but it's something I can live with right now. So I'm happy. I can't complain. Could be worse. I'd like it to be better, but I don't want to be greedy either.
Wow, 600 plus yard sale. Oh boy, that sounds
nice.
That sounds like a lot of fun.
That's 6 football fields, in case anyone's counting.
600 miles? Those are pretty big football fields.
Oh, is it miles? You said yards, 100 yards.
Yeah, I probably did say that,
yeah. Now who's drinking too much?
Comic book collection for $10, 200 plus comics from the 50s to early.
Holy cow.
Wow.
Nice.
Ooh.
Good for you. That's awesome. Hey, we need that stuff to wash out the deals that aren't so good.
That's very true. Speaking of which, I went to the it was rained pretty hard Sunday, so we knew it was coming. So I didn't go to the better flea market of the two. I probably going to go there this week because I think it's going to be 90-some degrees Sunday, I think they were saying.
Nice.
So I'll be going to that. Did go to the small flea market, and there were about 10 dealers there total.
It's pretty small.
It was, there was nothing going on there.
You could have set up yourself.
I did actually shoot a video out of that though, because, and I'll give a little sneak preview of a video that'll be coming out sometime soon. I just kind of realized, because I was there with Random Neighborhood Kid, and I think you may not realize this yet, because it took me till right then to realize it. I was going around to various vendors and taking a look on their tables, and they had various things listed or for sale.
Yeah.
And like, oh, he's got a pile of little golden books. And as I pick up the pile, it's like, nope, nothing good. And I kind of knew what I was looking for. Yeah. And so on. The comic hooks going through them, knew exactly what I was looking for, and knew how to tell first prints on this, and knew how to tell. And I stepped back and I said, Random Neighborhood Kid doesn't know any of this because he's just getting into it. Right. There's so much knowledge that we pick up throughout the years that you just don't even think about. I mean, it's just all second nature. Right. Even just take something as easy as the Marvel Star Wars comics. Yeah. You can tell the reprints from the first print, the 35-cent print on the #1, et cetera, across the board. Yeah. And we I don't think enough of us appreciate the amount of knowledge that we just all have just from doing it for so long.
Oh, sure.
Yeah, but it kind of came.
Well, I don't think we realize what we've absorbed over the last 20 plus
don't.
years.
We definitely don't.
Yeah. I realize that sometimes when I'm talking to my employees and they're new and they're trying to list and stuff, and I get a little worked up. I'm like, but they're new, and to me, it's just second nature. The mistakes that they don't realize they're doing, just simple little things,
Right. Well, they may not realize that if the card is, the bubble's coming separated from the card, right? You have to note it. Yeah. And they're looking at it going, well, it's still on card. Even the what's it called with the hang tag, if that's still there or not. If it's punched or unpunched. that's important to a collector potentially.
Even measuring things, like I can't remember when. I'm sure the first 5 years of eBay, I probably measured hardly anything.
Yeah, we never measured
until
anything,
questions came through on a T-shirt or a vehicle or something or a toy. Now I'm like, geez, you didn't measure it. Like, come on. They've only been doing it a few months. We've done it 20 plus years. So
yeah, and that happened a lot of times. It used to happen to me all the time with books, because I'd be selling kids books, and it never occurred to me that take I don't know, just name any book, Peter Pan. There could be like 9 different size Peter Pan's books, depending upon, and they could be different sizes, different number of pages, et cetera, et cetera. I'm like, well, it's a Peter Pan book. You see it. Well, where do you want?
Yeah, I hear you.
So I guess
maybe that's the issue I'm having with my one lister, which I'm expecting him to perform and list more per hour. He's still new and not getting it. But like I said, one of the reasons could be there's so many versions and so many pages to sift through on Amazon, they may be slowing him down.
Yeah, definitely. So I guess it's something rather to step back and just realize that, things that seem obvious to us at this point weren't obvious to us 10 years ago, and they're not obvious to your new employees. Yeah. Oh, nice. Yep. Yeah. We did just log in yesterday, and they still haven't changed the number of items he can list, but we're going to keep logging in and checking on it, because I would think that they're going to be changing it sometime soon. Cool. I definitely will let him know that, though.
Well,
there's a reason she's the former wife.
Yeah, exactly. Sorry to hear that either something tragic happened to her or you moved on to bigger and better things.
Hey, you had a really good content for the show almost.
And I'm sure you're going to remind me, because we talk about a lot of things every day. So what is it?
Well, usually when you call me during my workday, I make a joke and you kind of accept the joke. And no problem at all. And then yesterday you called me and I made a joke. And you said, I don't have time for jokes. And then another had happened.
Wow. Yeah, this is a doozy. So we sell on adult DVD marketplace, which was a great decision about 1.5 years ago to move all the eBay DVDs over to there, which we've done, I think, about 30,000 DVDs. And I mean, it's just great. You get shipping. You don't have to sell free shipping. The fees are super low. The sales are super high compared to eBay. So, and eBay doesn't have the DVDs anymore, so it worked out great. So I have this new employee that I'm trying to find a good niche for him. Something that he can be good at. That we need something listed in bulk that he can just pound out. So I said, hey, why not try this? My one employee quit that used to do it, but my manager at the shop, she does them on the weekends, list the DVDs there. So I said, go to the shop at 9 a.m. when you're punching in, and she'll go over everything with you. So she's teaching him everything, everything from what I know. I'm at the warehouse. Everything is good. He comes back. My sister, who's my manager, calls me hysterically crying. I can't believe I did this. I'm so sorry. You're going to kill me. What happened? She goes, well, and she was crying through all this, but I could still understand it. She said, I was trying to teach him. I listed one DVD, but we really didn't have any place for it because I wasn't listing DVDs, so I went to delete it. And there's actually a button where you can refresh your listings and import them every month or two. And right next to it, delete all of your listings, which why it's there and why they don't have a backup window that says, are you sure you want to delete? So she clicks on this and deletes 30,000 DVDs, which I wanted to cry, but I sat in the corner and thought about how much money I'm really losing at this point between the money I paid for the DVDs, the money I paid to have them list, and my future sales. And it was 6 figures I was losing if this really happened. And they were gone. I was upset, but I'm like, in the back of my head, I'm like, there's no way. And everyone I talked to Paperboy, I talked to my other manager. They're like, there's got to be some backup plan. So she contacts them, which you can't call them like most online stores. You can email them. Luckily, a couple hours later, they had some type of a backup system and they refreshed everything and restored them. But again, I mean, my heart just like, eBay sales are down. Now I got to lose this. It was tragic for a little bit. And she felt she's like, you can fire me. I'm like, I'm not firing you. You're my manager, my sister. I need you. It really sucks, but we would get through it one way or the other like we always do. So if that's how I got grumpy, I was grumpier yesterday, Don, let me tell you. But things are getting better.
So you're going out of your way for content for the show. We do appreciate you're completely tanking your business, but it's great content.
Oh, it's super.
We
super,
appreciate
super.
that. We all do appreciate
Thank
that.
you.
Okay. Actually, Technically, I don't think you're supposed. Well, corner ruler, I don't know about. I guess if it's on your background, because I know people have I've actually heard of people getting upset because the listing will show something with the penny next to it or a quarter next to it.
Right, yeah.
You didn't send me the quarter.
Oh, jeez. That's why I always use a penny.
There you go. I can almost afford that.
No, people may not waste their time with a penny.
I'm going to read you real quick something or other, and I want to tell you what you think of this sale. Now, I went to it, but I want
Okay.
Fully Booked is the name of the sale. It's an estate sale.
Yep.
And in there, it's like tons of books.
Okay.
Vintage and contemporary, hardcover and softcover, mystery, gardening, children's fiction, nonfiction, pets, romance, histories, etc. Knowing what you know about what I sell, should I go to that sale?
Absolutely.
I went to that sale.
How far was it?
It was literally on the way home from the day job.
Better yet. You know,
So-
if it's 2 miles or 2 hours, 3 hours away. What's it? You got
No,
to
I went
contemplate.
about 45 seconds out of my way.
It's a no-brainer for me.
So I show up there, and there's nobody there, which surprised me. But I said, okay. I walk in there. I've thrown out better books.
I love that.
And they wanted $3.
Well, hold on. Did they say dumpster sale?
They did that. It says Fully Booked. No.
All right.
They wanted $3 for hardcover books with things like Dean Koontz and things like that. And I went through vintage books. There were some older paperbacks upstairs that were all mystery paperbacks. Right. And other than that, there were when I think vintage books, I guess I'm not thinking 1960s as being vintage. I'm thinking 1900, 1890s.
Well,
there were
those are antique now. Vintage is more like 1990s and 80s, really.
There were like 2 books, 1900, and a few 1950s paperbacks, and they wanted $2 each for the paperbacks. And I walked through, and somebody or other had said, maybe all the good books were gone. I go, well, then they were able to replace all of the books on the shelves because there literally was nothing gone out of the entire sale. And I guess that's one of those deals where you kind of have to know the estate sale dealer because I'm definitely going to not run to this estate sales from here now on, because that was so misleading and the stuff they had was so bad especially compared to the advertising. If I were driving by and I saw the sign and I stopped by, it's just a sale.
Right, sure.
And I didn't go out of my way really to speak because it was on the way home. I mean, I went like 1 block further south than I should have gone, or 2 blocks further south. So I didn't really go out of my way for it. But I made the time to get there and everything.
Sure.
And it was just absolutely atrocious. And I don't like to use the word atrocious, but it was. It really, truly
you're in and you're out.
Well, no, not exactly.
No,
because
you got suckered in.
Well, because I'm walking around going, there has to be
something
good here.
Yeah.
Well, I didn't go leave with anything. There was actually one okay deal. They had a scrapbook for $25 with a few loose items in it. And I looked and I said, I could sell those 3 loose items at $20 each. I said, where am I going? I'm paying $25. I pulled the 3 out. I sell them for $60. I got the rest of the scrapbook left over.
Right.
Where am I going? So it's a lot of work for nothing right over there.
Crazy.
Whoa.
All right.
My screen just turned green there.
Dawn's in the house.
Oh.
Appreciate that. We'll take it any which way.
Thank you very much. Definitely do appreciate that. Yeah, I guess I am kind of vintage now that you mentioned it.
Maybe you can buy a vintage tie.
I think I have one already.
Because Eric had a question for you.
This actually is a Mr. Magazine suggestion. And if you go out to a bar down in like the financial, when I went to the bar in the financial district of London or New York City and that, you tend to see the people that get off of work, they undo their tie and they kind of wear it around like this. And after talking with Mr. Magazine, I realized we are running a happy hour here. We're all kind of sitting around, a bunch of friends talking. So no better way to have a happy hour than to have a tie like this.
And drinking. Well,
we were. Yes, we were. But now I did mention that sales were a little bit slow, average slow.
Yeah.
Did have somebody offer me $1 for an item, which has free shipping on it.
Oh, I love that stuff. That's the best.
It's wonderful.
It's
wonderful.
Yeah.
I don't like, because of the conversations that we've had through the chat, I try not to ban the bidder right away or whatever. You just get blocked. You offer me $1
I delete it, especially if it's something like $50, $100. Now that's kind of ridiculous.
It was
a $10, $20 item. It's ridiculous, but not as ridiculous as $50.
It's just the fact that I can't make any. It's the fact I would lose money to ship it to them. That's the.
I really believe some of these people think that maybe a bigger dealers are so busy they're not paying attention. They're going to click accept and then they're committed. I don't know.
Do you want to go in real quick about the buy that you're not getting?
Oh, yes.
Just because it's got an interesting twist to it as far as I'm concerned.
So we have a mutual friend that we've dealt with for years. He called me up and he said, "I got a lead for you. I would, maybe he would have bought it maybe years ago, but definitely out of his range at this point.
He'd rather get the finder's fee.
Yeah, he'd rather get a finder's fee.
Yep.
He came across it somehow. Guy's a couple hours away from me or us, and he has about 7,000, close to 7,000 vintage celebrity magazines, teen magazines, from the 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, maybe 70s. Supposed to be excellent condition. I think 10% are clipped. I think we mentioned this last time.
We did mention it. Yep.
But they're marked on the back. Ones, they're all, a lot of them are bagged and marked and stuff. So we pretty much had the deal because the guy was firm on his price. He would not take any less. He knew he had a good collection there, and I said, okay, just give me a couple weeks. I have another deal in the works down in Texas that my driver is going to. If we can't do it all in one foul swoop, then I would come in with my manager and we would drive up or something and make a half day out of it or something like that. So I said it's going to be middle or late August, and the guy said, okay, just let me know when you're ready. The price was already set. And I get an email from today and he goes, I've decided not to sell them outright in a bulk lot. I'm going to sell them on eBay. Now, this gentleman, from what he told me, he's up there. He's like 70 years old, retired. His partner passed away, and I think it was his partner's stuff. And he said, I'm going to sell them on eBay. And I said, okay, no problem. I understand. What's your eBay name? Are you going to sell it as one whole lot or individually? And I'm assuming he's going to sell in one lot because who wants to list you're 70 years old, you're going to list 7,000 magazines. You got the listings, the eBay headaches, the emails, packing, the mailing, and I'm sure it's new to him. So he goes, nope, I'm going to sell them individually. I figured it out. If I list 10 a day, I'll have them all listed in 2 years. And I'm thinking, he wanted 8,000, which I thought was a good deal. In bulk, it's not a great deal. I mean, the condition's good, but it's a good deal. No, let's put it this way: there's not many people who are going to pay more than that if you can find them. So, good for him, I guess. I said, good luck. I go, if it doesn't work out and you feel you don't want to do this or you're not selling them or whatever, I'm always available. I'll always, have the deal. So,
I guess unless it's a situation where he doesn't need the money. Mm-hmm. And he's looking for a hobby. If that's the case, but even then,
it's a lot of work for a hobby. Hobbies are going to a flea market on a weekend and sell them for $5 a piece. That's a hobby,
Yeah, you can if you do. If you list 10 a day, it is kind of a hobby. You can do that in an hour and a half. But then at some point,
when you list more and more, they start growing your inventory. You're selling more.
But you also have to increase the size of your store,
right?
Et cetera, et cetera. So it becomes a job. At some point, it really does.
Absolutely.
Because you're not going to list the 10 and sell the 10. You might at first, if you take the 1930s ones, you might do that. Right. Yeah. You list 10, you sell 10. But at some point, you're listing 10, you're selling 4. Then you're selling 3.
I think part of it was he didn't know how many he had, but at some point, I don't know if his partner had him appraised because he had this spreadsheet. I think I sent it to you. And that's how he knew he had almost 7,000 magazines. It was totaled up on there by title. But then it was also totaled up by price of the title. So if there's 200 Screen Stars magazine, someone priced them, say, $15 average. So, $20, whatever it was. So he's coming up with tens of thousands of dollars in retail.
Which it is.
It could be, absolutely. Yeah. But again, how many people want to pay $8,000 or more for that as well?
Right. Well, and then the other problem which he may have is if he's incorrect as far as which ones are missing, have scraps on them, et cetera, et cetera.
Right.
If he's not checking himself and he's trusting and say that the person that assembled his collection started noting the scraps 5 years into the collection and collected for 15. Well, some of the stuff from the first 5 years are going to have pieces missing.
Right.
Not going to be noted.
Yeah.
He's going to have upset buyers wanting to return things, et cetera, et cetera. And of course, that would be the risk you'd be taking too.
Well, here's the best one that I can't do. You might do it because it's just you're not paying anyone to do it. But like you get those emails, hey, can you check page 32 and see if there's a Rolex ad? Can you check if there's a who wants to do that? It's more time and more work involved, and so we'll see how it goes. I'm guessing he's not going to have a lot of success at it unless he doesn't care if he sells them or
not. You sell old sports photos,
and adult related stuff like that. If they come across, I'm not a big fan of them. I don't do too well with them, but if it's a deal, like I said, I'll take them.
And occasionally I sell them. They're just things that I don't know very well. I'm trying to learn them, and it's just crazy. One of the crazy things are the photo booth photos, and I think I showed you the one day, and it was the first photo booth photo I ever saw that went for like crazy money. Mm-hmm. Literally, it was somebody, and this basically is what it looked like that. And it went for like $185. Wow. It was a photo booth of somebody like trying to cover the camera up with their hand. And it went for $185. And I said, okay, there's a lot of money in photos. Yeah. And never in a million years would I think that would be worth $185.
Some people have an eye for that, or they know.
They've been around it forever. I mean, and just like we were talking earlier in the show about the knowledge base, they've got the knowledge base of photos. Right. They know that something or other like that will sell for very good money. Sure. I would have probably never, I probably would have, not that I would have thrown away because I don't throw anything away, but I would have thrown it in the box going, who the heck's ever going to want this?
Oh, I have tons of photos that I don't want to deal with. Just don't know much about them, unfortunately.
A lot of pin backs from Rochester Political Pins, 100 pins. Nice. Yeah.
Cool stuff.
Wow. That's
good deal.
That's a really good sale. I got to go to that sale sometime. Next time they have a sale, call me. I'll go. Yeah. Some really good stuff. I'll have H. Yep. And the paper in the back. Yep. Yeah. I remember early on, you got a bunch of Repop political pins. I don't know if you remember those or not. Yeah. I think we knew they were Repop though.
We guessed. Yeah. They were really nice shape and the backs were clean. So, for me, that was enough. Yeah. And
we ended up, we sold them as Repro and, did okay on them. Did you watch our video from yesterday?
I'm usually a couple days. I'm like 48 hours behind.
Oh, okay.
So I'm thinking about covering that tomorrow.
I'll watch it in the next 48. All right. You didn't really probably notice when you came in what's missing.
The air conditioner?
Wow. Wow. The shelving.
Oh, I did not notice that. Yeah.
Yeah, we actually put the shelving up. Did a nice video. Random Neighborhood Kid and I put together the shelving. Well, one of us put together the shelving. The other one was middle management.
Can I guess the time it took?
Yes, you may. Two shelves.
Two units or one unit?
Two units
okay.
up. Yeah.
Now you were just watching.
One of us was middle management, and one of us was laborer.
Okay.
The middle management did get his hands dirty a little bit helping out. We'll say from the time we moved the thing downstairs, took all of the stuff off the old shelves, disassembled the old shelves, did not not counting and putting the stuff back on, et cetera, et cetera. Go ahead.
Oh, it's got to be a couple hours.
2.5 hours. Yep. Took 2.5 hours to do that, and then.
But just to build them might have just been 30 minutes each, 35 minutes each. So
probably the first one was probably close to an hour because it's still learning.
Once you get the hang of it, the next one.
The second one was a lot faster. Yep. But one of us did a really, really good job on that. And you have to watch the video to see which of us was the one who didn't know what the heck he was doing.
Okay.
Another thing, we got a eBay glitch of the week. I hate having a segment like this, but we had that yesterday. Now, have your employees been complaining about any glitches lately?
More on Amazon than eBay.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Now, eBay, my one manager found the one glitch, and I knew there was a workaround. I just had to think about it. And once we called them, and had to call them, it was just finding that site map where you can end the auctions. We just had to go to manage active, I think. So I got to get used to that format now.
Right, and that's the crazy thing about eBay or any other site. There's always, even in my day job, there's 5 different ways to do every task. Yeah. And I know how to do it one way, and a different person knows how to do it a different way. And maybe I'm not doing it the right way, but it's getting done, and vice versa. Well, I will answer that momentarily. That's eBay Glitch of the Week number 2. Oh, eBay Glitch of the Week number 1 was yesterday. It was when I was listing stuff. The photos were freezing. They just would not load.
I did not hear that.
Would not load. And,
what time was this at?
5:15 in the morning, 5:30 in the morning, something other like that. The photos would glitch, and they finally would load. But then I went to try to crop the photos or move the photos, et cetera, and that wouldn't work. You couldn't do any of that stuff. Yeah. Found the workaround though. Okay. Workaround. You post your listing. Then you revise your listing, and when you went to revise it, you were able to do all of it very easily, and it worked right away.
Great.
So when you're trying to list it from scratch, it wouldn't work.
It takes twice as long.
but if you were, it would work on a revision, but not on an original list.
Oh goodness.
See, but that's the crazy thing is you learn these little workarounds, and next time I'm having that same problem, I'm gonna try that same workaround, and it might work.
Well, and I told you today when my manager called them up, she's like, "Can you just log into my account to show me where to end the auction? Because we revised it at a cheaper price from store to auction." And they said supposedly this person on the phone said there's a new policy for the workers. They're no longer can get access into our accounts and like view from their monitor what we're seeing. So I guess there were some people calling up with, fake people's names and getting into accounts, and they're able to get information to hack their account.
Oh wow!
So I don't know how true that is, or if it's just a short-term thing. But as of right now, if you call up eBay's, the employee on the phone has no access to your account,
other than
whatever book they're reading through, with their rules and so forth.
Can they see like if you owe money and all that stuff?
Not through your account. That's what I don't know, but they said they could not log into our account to help us out. That way, they'd have to ask the upper management, or they have a book they're reading off, for solutions and stuff. So,
wow,
kind of crazy.
As the eBay Open, I was signed up for eBay Open, and I went to the email and I clicked on it, and bad gateway. Multiple time bad gateway, and I know Dawn had some trouble getting in as well because she had sent me bad gateway as well. She was getting the same thing about the same time, and I'm like, wait, did Dawn hack into my computer? How is she seeing the bad gateway that I've got? But so she was having the same thing, and now she was saying that a couple of other people were having the same problem as well. It started working for her, and she told me how to get into it. I clicked through, and I just couldn't get in. There no join button ever came up. Nothing ever came up for me to be able to get in. And there actually were a couple of things that I definitely wanted to see. So my hope is that they end up. One of them that I wanted to see was a thing on how to do, not perfect, but how to do better listings.
Gotcha.
And I definitely want to see that one to see what they're suggesting. So hopefully they're going to archive all these and make them accessible to people, because it just sounds like they just weren't ready for the bandwidth. And we were talking, I'm trying to get in at 3:05, 3:10, 3:15, and the thing starts at 3 o'clock our time. So it was, it wasn't like rushing in at 3 o'clock like everybody, when everybody, or 2:55 or anything like that. But yeah, I never got the join option even there. I even logged in and logged out of my account, et cetera, et cetera. And the funny thing is, you get I'm not going to say a code. You get a verification that you are signed up for it, and it's one of those B377E6, so I've got that. It never asks you for that anywhere. It never does anything with that ever. So it's like, I don't know. So the short answer is I tried to go, and I'm going to try again tomorrow to see if I can't get into it or not. But again, hopefully they archive it, and not with them having it all online as opposed to it being physical. It does make it a little different, definitely. Hopefully they're doing physical next year, and if they do, you're going with me, and we're going to have to go into that. So that would be good.
Let me know if they tell you how to list better, because it's been brought to my attention. I told you today that basically my listings are crap, and they have been for many, many years.
Let's tell that story.
So the other adult site that was taken off after eBay, we started listing on that probably 2-3 weeks ago in July at some point. I think 200-300 items we listed, and we put up cheaper, more affordable magazines of the adult nature. But we put prices cheaper. We did different options as far as you could make an offer on a higher priced one, or the cheaper ones could have free shipping. So we just wanted to we didn't know how people were going to react to the new site.
You want to give them a lot of possible options.
We gave them a bunch of options.
Throw it all against the wall.
So we listed a few hundred items, and I think the fees were cheaper the first month or whatever. So I think we just got the bill. It's $50. We don't know if it was last month for free or this month you got a prorated in advance. I don't know. So anyways, I get the bill for $50. We didn't sell one item in the month, not one. And, it's still growing. There's people listing all the time, however, we don't know if any of the stuff's really selling or not. So I just reached out to the owner and I just, hey, I got the bill, I want to know moving forward if it's going to be that every month. And then the more I list, obviously, it's going to be more. And he basically said the listing is going to be 15 cents good till canceled every month to cover the server costs or something like that. So I said, well, do me a favor. We haven't sold anything yet. And, are we doing something wrong? I want to kind of stick with it, but I don't want to invest thousands of dollars with my employees. I don't want to list thousands of items and have this bill for 2, 3, 4, 500 a month and nothing selling. So are other sellers having success and I'm not? If so, what's the reason? Well, he basically emailed me back and kind of blasted me and basically said my listings are crap. Because I did say, I can bring a lot to your website because we had over 100,000 magazines on eBay of the adult nature, and maybe give me some type of a deal or work with me, and we can build your site up as well, give it more content. And he basically said my listings aren't very good. And this is through eBay. And I told him, we were one of the biggest listers. We had a lot of success. We were selling 50 to 100 magazines a day, and now we're selling 0. And he said, we don't have a big description in there. And I thought our pictures were good. Everything's scanned. I mean, you thought they were good, didn't you? I mean,
yeah.
We looked at a few. He gave me one example. It had a tear in the corner, and again, it was a $15 magazine. The scan showed the tear. My employee listed the tear. You know what you're getting, and you can make an offer. So, I thought we were doing everything well. We've been doing it for 20-something years, but basically he's telling me people aren't buying my product on his site because my listings aren't very good. So
yeah, and then we did a long talk about that, and basically what it comes down to is you are a volume lister. You've always been a volume lister,
right?
And the other side of that comes into how much work are you going to put into a $15 magazine when you've got $50 and $100 magazines that you could be listing on eBay with the same amount of work. Right. And they're going to sell on eBay. And I think that's what it all comes down to. So,
and we do give better descriptions on the higher, anything like $50 or more. We're throwing table of contents in with multiple pictures, multiple celebrities' names. So the higher it goes up, the more time and effort we're going to put into it because we're going to get that back out of it.
So he wasn't wrong. Your listings aren't great on there,
but I don't think that's the reason they're not selling on his site. Had no problem on eBay, and I'm assuming the same buyers on eBay. Hopefully, they found his site, but again, the site could just be sellers trying to sell, and not many buyers know to buy there. So it's still early. I'm doing much better on the website, so I'm not going to complain there.
Do you guys worry about average sale price? We are trying, and both of us, I think, in fact, I know we have a video up about it where we're working on getting our average ticket price up. I mean, obviously that's the best way. And it's funny you ask, it's almost like you're looking over my shoulder. Because I wrote down over here, I've had some decent sales and the average ticket matters.
Yeah.
10 sales at $15 beats 10 sales at $10. And that's really what it comes down to is I look week to week. I keep track of the number of items I sold, and I also keep track of the dollar amount of the items that I sell. Yeah. And my sales are a little bit higher than last year right now, believe it or not, week by week. So this week will be slightly higher than a year ago right now, but I'll have sold 10 fewer items or 12 fewer items. Yeah. And so that means that obviously the average ticket must be going up because, and you can't argue with that when you're making a little more money and moving a little less product.
Yeah, I mean, for me, Amazon, we've been dumping more listings into Amazon since Christmas, so we're getting more out of it. So our sales are up, our average ticket's up because we've been investing more time and money into it with listings. eBay, like you said, I'm selling less items, but the higher dollar amount. So I'm happier selling 70 items a day for the same amount of money I was selling 100 items a day a year ago. Yep. So I can't argue with that either.
And I think, and we've talked about this in a video too, I think the problem that we both, and it's not necessarily a problem, but the problem we both have is legacy in that a lot of times you are selling, and I noticed it when I was printing stuff for you over the past weekend when you were out camping, stuff like you charge shipping on top of it all. Yeah. But you have items that are like $8 plus the shipping. Now maybe you're taking an offer on it or whatever to get the $8. Right. Yeah. But if you're taking the $8 offer on it, you probably were asking $14 to start with, and it's old or something like that.
I had it for a long time. So if it was a sports card we listed a week ago, I'm probably going to want to take 10 or 11. If it's a magazine or a card we listed 2 or 3 years ago, I'm taking a 7, moving on.
Right, but it's also you're not taking the $8 on a $35 item.
Correct.
So so both of us have these older items that, we're just happy to get rid of. We're happy to sell them, happy to move them. But that does take down our average ticket price as well. Now, I'd rather make the sale than not make the sale.
Correct, yeah.
So if I've got something that I listed in 2010 for $11 and somebody offers me $7, buy out the door, let's get rid of it. Yeah. But of course, now I wouldn't list that thing for $11.
Yeah, and I'm trying to make up sales too to compensate for the sales I'm losing with the adult stuff. So
do not forget to hit the like button. Thank you.
That's right.
Thank you. You guys don't remind us. We never tell anybody to do that. Oh, we got a question for everybody out there. Why don't you run through real quick if there's anything else? Anybody else to say hi to? Anything else going on?
A lot of music. Two Dogs Digs are talking about some music. Rage Against the Machine.
Nice. Nice. Okay. You just have your own little show over there. That's fine. No
eBay broke Don's brain. And then Madeline Kahn.
There you go. All right. Now we're all caught up. So this is a question, everybody out there, and this is a problem that we saw today, and you're going, we did? And we've seen it in the past, and I don't really know the answer to it. And that's, you had a buyer that wanted the item. He bought 3 items. He wanted to pay for one, didn't want the other 2, but this, that. It was just easier with everything. We canceled the order for buyer request.
He was overseas too. Right?
He's overseas. Yeah. Oh, it's just a nightmare.
Yeah.
But so we canceled it for buyer request, and no problem.
Yep.
And when we hit cancel, there's the little button underneath there. Do you want eBay to? I think it says relist this item, yes or no. Yeah. And I checked, and they all were checked yes. And so we canceled, and they've yet to relist. So I guess the question I have to everybody out there is: does anybody out there have any idea how long things take to relist? Here's my fear, because Mr. Magazine said to me, well, can't you just manually relist them? Yes, of course I can. I can track them down and I can manually relist them. But the problem is I've seen some listings of my own that would sit there and they would be ghost listings. They wouldn't be showing up on the site, but you'd see the little note underneath it that says, this is a duplicate listing too.
Yeah.
And when the other listing sells, we'll make this one visible.
Right.
So my fear is that I relist those 3 items. They all go up. At some point, eBay's computer finally says, oh, got some stuff to do over here. Let me relist these things.
Exactly.
And they go and they relist them. They all end up ghosted listings. You sell one, and then eBay says, oh, he's got another one to sell. When, of course, you don't have another one to sell.
Who knows what sell break's going to take that as. We may have 3 of the same one to sell at that point.
So I guess the question I have is, if anybody has followed along and has any idea how long eBay takes to relist an item when you've canceled it, I'm going to start paying more attention to on items that I cancel to see when they do show up, because that's a good question. Maybe they're sitting in a limbo somewhere and eBay just never bothers to relist them because they tell you they're going to, but maybe they don't.
It could be, knows? And I get concerned with, especially if it's like a $100 item and it doesn't get relisted and you think they're relisting it, and then it's just sitting dead in a box somewhere.
Yep. No, she said Angela H canceled one this morning and it got relisted right away. So I don't know. The only thing I can think of is, but I don't know where you would find this at. Perhaps because they were magazines, perhaps they didn't get relisted because perhaps they don't have the other specific title in it.
That's but then would they show up in unsold when I go to relist?
That's what I'm trying to think, if they show up in unsold or if they would show up in like some weird cancel. That could be what the problem is then on that. Well, thank you, everybody. You've helped us.
Another person. Everyone's.
I relisted immediately. So
everyone but Mr. Magazine, apparently.
So I bet it's something other to do with the item specific. So
it's one of those things. Maybe, especially if they're pricey, relist them, and then maybe give me the sheet. In a couple of days, I'll just check if there's 1 or 2 live.
What I'll do is I'll try to find them then, and I will relist them, and I'll see if the item specific is filled in. And if it's not, then we know that that's the problem, and it never will relist.
Yeah,
so I bet that's it.
They manually do theirs.
Never said all. So yeah. So.
There we go.
Yeah, so it's all over the place. There's no rhyme or reason.
Everyone's lucky but me. Thank you.
But yeah, I bet that's what it is. I bet that it's the unspecific. So we'll look into that and we'll let you know next week on that. $1 Million Peddlers did sell 1 item. So we did sell an AOC Time magazine.
Okay.
That I picked up at a church sale for probably close to nothing because they wanted to get rid of it because it's a church sale. Other than that, nobody haven't sold anything on Etsy, and Viv's-Views has not sold anything either. And Random Neighborhood Kid hasn't sold anything either. Tough times.
One of those weeks.
Tough times. I've had it right back up, and I have others that never come up again. Yeah, see, that's
crazy.
There's no rhyme or reason. That, if you knew that there would be a problem, then you could say, no, I don't want to relist it, and you just manually relist it. Track it. I guess maybe that's the way we have to do it from now on. I don't know.
Crazy.
On into our subtopic, and this is kind of a one that I just kind of threw together, and that's how you change your mindset, long tail versus short tail. And the reason I'm asking this is because you're generally like me in that you're long tail on things.
Right.
But you've been buying a lot of, there you go. They are very inconsistent. You've been buying a lot of card boxes and things like that. And those are very, very short tail. Yeah. So you have a lot more experience flipping back and forth, flipping the switch between long tail and short tail. I'm pretty much long tail on nearly everything that I buy.
Right.
How do you, because obviously you can afford to pay more on short tail.
Yeah, you have to if you want the product. I mean, it's just how it is.
But how do you, I guess, how do you flip that switch in your head?
Well, luckily I have options. So I got the retail shop. We sell sports cards in there. So if they're bringing sports cards in, whether they're single card sets or unopened boxes, I have an outlet, at least at this shop. I know I'm going to sell them at some point. If I don't sell them now, I'll sell them at Christmas season. I'll sell them at football, whatever the season is. We should sell that product there. So I'm buying it to put it on eBay if it merits putting on eBay. If not, we put on Amazon, and I got my retail store. So I can invest into 20, 30, 50 boxes or something because I can spread it out between my platforms.
Were you, back in the day, were you direct with anybody?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, definitely. Years and years ago, yeah.
And
all the companies were, yeah.
And what % did you pay, roughly?
Oh, man. On a regular product that's not hot and going for 10 times as much, I think it was around half.
50%.
Yeah, I think so.
And I know in the comic market, I think you're paying 50 to 60% on the new things, et cetera, et cetera.
Because if boxes were, I think when we were buying them, they were like a Common Tops 1990 or 91 box. I think they were 10 and you were charging 20, from what I can remember. Yeah.
Yeah, so I guess you come at it being used to paying that, at least on one level. Yeah. And comic dealers, new comic dealers come at it, because to me, I would sit there and I would look at it. Let's pretend that tomorrow I opened a comic store. Yeah. And I'd be putting the comics out there, and I haven't bought a comic forever off the newsstand, but I don't know what they run now. $5, let's say.
Yeah, that's about that. Yeah.
I'm paying $3 for a book I'm going to sell for $5 and I might not even sell it. That's insane. Yeah. Dear Diamond, I'll give you 40 cents for this book.
Exactly.
I pay 8 cents on a dollar. I'm not paying you 56 or 60 cents on a dollar. That's insane. Yeah. Because it's a whole different way of thinking. Yeah. And I would have difficulty in that. But again, I think that being in the long tail, we're at a disadvantage if we ever go into any other business. Yeah, because definitely. All of a sudden you open up a supermarket and you're saying, "Wait, I'm making 3%." Yeah, are you insane? I can't do that.
I'm fronting $1 million to make $30,000 or whatever.
Right. Yeah. Exactly. So I just was wondering about that, about how you can flip that switch, because I don't think. I mean, maybe on a one-time basis on an item. I mean, obviously, if I'm out somewhere and I see something for $10 that I know I can sell to you for $15, I'll buy that because it's a guaranteed sale. But,
I think part of it is me being competitive and I don't want this guy to go up the road to sell to my competitor at the same price and he'll make the money then. So I'd rather make 20, 30% off the cards than have my, competitor make that amount. In general, when this whole craze was happening a year or so ago, there was probably every dealer in Rochester were buying them, and then I was paying a little more than them. So a lot of the guys came to me just I had a couple outlets that these other dealers didn't have to sell them at. So I was fortunate. Right now, I got tons of inventory, but I think I'm going to sell it during football season and Christmas season. So, all right, there's no rhyme or reason for eBay slogan. Here's a good one from I'm sure. Well, for feedback, eBay is probably around that. Would you say 35%?
Probably, yeah.
It's Amazon where it gets scary because, I could sell 1,000 items in a month. I would get 50 positives. And then I could get 3 negatives. So that would kill me, but we're doing better now. But most people on Amazon don't leave any feedback. I think it's hard to do it unless you get the email and you feel like clicking through to give the feedback. So that's the problem with Amazon. But eBay, that's about the going rate.
Actually, it's interesting you mentioned feedback because I just read an article today from, I don't know, somehow or other it's in my news feed from Sports Collectors Digest. Okay. And they did a list of the 100 biggest eBay dealers, basically, people on eBay, based off of positives, and it was something or other like.
Oh, Parrot had on there still.
They didn't mention that because they were only talking about the sports card people. They were talking about the top 100 sellers, and something like 3 of the top 20 sold sports cards. Wow. So and the one guy got 20. I think it was saying 20,000 positives in a month.
Probably the guy selling commons, like those. That's what people need to fill sets. So.
I know, like
Yeah.
PWCC was like, I don't know, number.
They're huge.
And they were only like the 50th biggest or something like that.
But they're selling $10,000, $50,000, $100,000 cards. So
COMC, I think, was one of them, and then a few other ones on there.
But I bet the big ones have the ones selling the commons. Yeah, definitely.
Probably, yeah. What you think about, you go in to fill a set. I mean, it's just the way to do it.
Where else are you going to get them nowadays?
Nature of the beast. eBay reminds people to leave feedback. A lot of people just, that's. As long as you've got enough positives, that's what it comes down to. And the worst is when you do get a neutral. Neutrals, I guess, don't hurt you, but they don't look good as far as that goes. You see it and you're like, oh, there's a 1. What's going on? Yeah. But when you get the negative, especially if you're not getting a lot of positives, then that does kill your percentage.
Yeah, I mean, people that used to see, let's say if I had 5 negatives in a month and I had 1,000 positives, like they would not want to buy from me just because that 5 scared them, but they'd rather buy from someone that had 100 positives and 1 negative,
See, I didn't watch. I had the glitches, so I wasn't able to see the one today. But I would say the year that I went, actually, I did learn a lot. It definitely was worthwhile, and a lot of what I learned was from the people around me, from the other attendees. So it was really interesting as far as that went. And if they do hold it in Vegas again next year, hopefully all this nonsense passes and we do have a live show or live one.
A couple more people we can join out there, Don and Thomas.
There you go.
Count us in.
Yep. No, it was worthwhile to me. I found it really worthwhile, and I came back energized from that. So personally, I would go again, especially with the channel, because then we could report into everybody and all that. Sure, so that would make it really good. On to the main topic. And do you put a quota on yourself or your employees when listing? And if so, how many items an hour? Is it good to do?
Yeah, I mean, I've always had the quota, and not to scare them or force them. I always thought it was fair and doable because, you and I, we were the ones listing years and years ago for me. And it seems harder nowadays. So I don't know if there's more variables or factors involved, but, like I used to say, if you're pulling, packing, listing, I'm happy with 20 an hour because I got to pay you 50, 60, 70 cents to pull it. Same thing to pack it and list it. And it all depends, obviously, the factors. If you're listing Amazon DVDs, you should be able to do 30 an hour if they're all new. So, but I mean, 20 for the most part, I'm happy with. But it seems nowadays I'm getting less than that for my employees, and I don't get on their case, but I don't know how I can make them do more. Train them better or give them some ideas or some hints.
Are you asking them to do more? Like, for instance, the table of contents. Are you doing that more?
Not yet. Okay. Well, the newbie. My veteran listers, yes. If it's like my one lister is doing, cheaper non-magazines. We're jacking the price up a little bit. But anything over 25 table content. So we got that there. Same thing with the adult stuff on Amazon or the website. Anything 25 or actually 50 or more table contents, it gets bagged and boarded. So, that's going to slow you down. But, you don't want to put a $50 or $100 magazine in the box and 2 years from now it's going to be all bent up. But the new listers, I always start everyone on Amazon. And for me, I always thought it was easier and quicker, especially if you're just scanning it. It's in the system. But I think they're having trouble finding items. So they might go a few pages in and then grading it accordingly.
Well, Amazon definitely made it more difficult to list. In the old days, you just found the item on the main Amazon page and you clicked sell like this.
Right.
Now you have to go back into your inventory, add a product, and find it that way.
Yeah.
Can I give you a tip?
Absolutely. I'm looking for anything.
And anybody else on Amazon, find it the old way. And here's the crazy thing. A lot of times...
Oh, jeez.
A lot of times, you can actually find an item on Amazon searching through Google that you can't find searching through Amazon.
That is a bit crazy, yeah.
But
I think Google searches are probably better. That might be the reason where Amazon, you have to be almost specific. It's crazy.
But here's what you do. You do the search through Google. You find it on Amazon. You copy the ASIN number. And then when you go to add a product, you just put that ASIN number down.
Nice.
You're welcome. Yeah. Look at that. Now, 10 more items an hour out of your people.
Absolutely.
Additional.
Yeah.
Get going on it. I guess the reason I was asking that is because I wonder if having that number, say 20 items an hour, and I know that you expect 20.
Yeah.
If there's no reward for 25, why am I going to do, as a typical worker, why am I going to do 25? you're only expecting 20.
True, right.
So I get to 18, 45 minutes into the hour.
Yeah.
And then I kind of slack off a little bit. And guess what? I did 21 this hour.
Yeah.
And could I have done more? Certainly. But I slacked off.
Right.
Then the next hour, I'm slacking off at the beginning of the hour. And then I look and I go, oh, geez, it's quarter after. And I'm only listed 2 items.
Right.
And I kick it in and I make it to 21 that next hour by doing really, really well.
Right.
There's an old saying, and I'm going to botch it a little bit, but essentially it's the amount of time it takes you to do a task. Basically, it depends upon how much time you have to do the task. And if you've got an hour, guess how long the job takes you to do?
Well, I get
it takes
that.
you an hour to do.
The problem is they're not even hitting the 20, though. They're hitting way below in like 12, 15, 16. And you and me in a day in Amazon, we were doing 25, 30 like it was nothing. Now, again, I don't expect them to do that, but getting close, if they're hitting 18, okay, you're close. No big deal. But you're hitting 12 to 15, and that's like 4 or 5 minutes a piece. I almost want to do this speech with them. It's like, okay, we're going to list this. I'm going to list this one item. Count to 300. You know how slow I'd have to list that for 5, and that's what they're doing, really, essentially. Right. I mean, like, or just sit there in silence, like 10 employees sitting there for 5 minutes. Okay, time's up. That's what you guys are averaging. I don't want to be a jerk and do that, but really, why is it taking that long? When, like you said, you and me are knocking them out in 2-3 minutes, they're taking double. And it's not like it's a hard item that you're terapeaking, you're scanning the front and the back, and you're doing all the drop downs. That's a different story. And even then, when my other good listers were here, listing Victorian trade cards, I knew those took longer. Or if you're terapeaking $100 Vogue foreign magazines, but she was still doing 15 on eBay then. They're doing less on Amazon using the scanner that's in system.
Well, there's a story, and I cannot remember the gentleman's name, but he was back in the early 1900s, he was an efficiency expert. And he went to some factory, and he basically was told by all the workers, this is as fast as we can go. This is as fast as we can go. And I'm going to make this up because I don't remember exactly what the number was, but say 30 an hour or 30 an hour, let's say, was what they were doing.
Yeah.
And they're all telling him that's the fastest they can go. So what he did is on the weekend, he went in and he grabbed some local guys from around, Polish immigrants is what the local guys were around there. Brought them in and he said, I'm going to pay you a bonus if you can list. How fast can you list? And there's bonuses for you.
Yeah.
The immigrants were able to get 80 an hour done.
Well, it's funny because I remember years ago I tested my employees without knowing. It was another group maybe 5 years ago, and they were like 15 to 20, and I wanted to get them to 20. And I said, all right, we're going to do something. We're going to give everyone an hour. There was like 5 listers. I go, whoever lists the most gets $20. Guess what they're listing?
How many?
40, 50 an hour, 35, 40. So obviously they were going hard and trying fast, and maybe they were making some mistakes. I don't know. But the point is, it can be done, and obviously at the end of the day, I wouldn't expect it. But if you can do 30 or 40, you can do 20, and that's why it's the average. I mean, we've tested that for years, and it seems to be a fair average.
Well, what this guy did is, then he went back to the workers on Monday and said, I know 80 can get done an hour. Your new quota is 80.
Yeah. What was the original quota?
30 was all the workers were telling them they could do.
Yeah.
Yep, but he got some hungry people in and was paying them crazy money for that time, crazy money to sit there and do it. And they worked, all out, and they were able to get like 3 times as much done.
Well, you remember my original warehouse manager when I hired my nephew. He just started out not even knowing anything, doing 25 an hour, pulling orders. And he told him to slow down. He's making him look bad. Yeah, good manager. Oh, he's not with us anymore.
Right, and but then the other question comes in when if you do have a quota on them, and they feel pinched by the quota. Say you told them they had to do 25 to 30 an hour.
Yeah.
Then the question comes.
That's stressful then, because they're not even coming close to that. They're going to feel like failures.
Well, but say they do come close and they do it. Do they cut corners?
They could be making a lot of mistakes or crappy listings. True.
So that's kind of a question on that there.
Yeah. But I feel like if I don't have the quota,
you have to have some way to measure.
You have to, because if not, they're going to do 5-6 an hour, and who cares?
Well, and that's where working by myself. Keep that up for a minute. I'll answer it in a minute. Working by myself, and I know I said this. I've said this on a couple of different videos. I want to do the dollar quota for myself. as opposed to the item quota.
Yeah.
And that's where after I retire, I'm going to want to list $1,000 worth of stuff a day, which is definitely doable.
Sure.
And I've got a busy day. I pull out, 5 things I got from Heritage and I list those.
Yeah.
And I'm at $1,000. I've got a long day. I go and I pull out the $25 items and I spend a while listing those. And, it's definitely is a doable quota, doing it from dollar wise.
Right.
Because I think a lot of people, they just get into I want 10,000 listings. I have to list this many a day. And then you start getting discouraged if you have an off day and you don't make it, and et cetera, et cetera. So quotas are they are a tricky thing because you have to be careful how you impose them.
Sure.
Because again, let's say that you did impose 30 an hour on the people and you said you're fired if you don't.
I'd have no listers.
Well, let's say they could make it. Let's say that they could make the 30. They're going to be stressed. They're not going to like the job. And they're also going to be doing bad listings.
Right.
I mean, that's what it all comes down to. Or, they're making their 30 because they're listing on Amazon all the same title, and it's so easy to do.
Right.
You're giving me harder things to do. So that makes your job managing a lot more difficult because, like with the trade cards, you can't really put a quota on that because they're so different than
exactly, and they're $30 to $50 to $100. So I don't care so much if they're doing 15, but if you're listing $5 to $20 books on Amazon and you're doing 12, when minimum wage goes to 15, it's not worth having you around, honestly. And I know people can do more than that.
Right. That's the whole problem is, they can do more. And that gets crazy. But again, the other side of it is, let's say that you did put that 20 quota on me. And then the other morning I was listing at 5:15 in the morning and the pictures aren't loading. Right. Then I'm not going to make my 20. I'm really not going to make my 20 because, I'm off doing other things because I'm a one-man band and I've got other things to do as well.
I mean,
so it's
generally, if it's a warehouse issue, then they'll be doing organizing in the warehouse. If it's at the shop, the issue, they're going to go from eBay to Amazon or clean up the shop or organize. So there's always something to do when they get into a little bump in the road.
If they tell you there's a bump in the road.
They generally do.
Oh, they do?
Yeah,
okay.
They always, they want me to know that they're slow for a reason. It's not them.
Oh, okay. Because I could see some people just sitting there staring at the
oh, goodness.
staring at the
Well, the new
circle
employees may be doing that because we did have the issue with Amazon today where the inventory was at 0. Like, you couldn't pull up inventory. And then one of my managers looked and said, I just listed a bunch of items that are not up here. So they took a break. I go, well, take a break, set them aside, and double check them. She went on her break. 10 minutes later, they were back up again.
Okay. So,
but my other employees listing on Amazon at the warehouse said nothing about it. So maybe they didn't know because they didn't check their inventory. I have no idea.
Wow. 2,000 sheets of sheet music, sell in groups or individually. What I would do is I would run through them, and I would pick out anything at all that looks oddball, and I would check those up separately. And otherwise, I would list them in groups. I probably would honestly list them in groups of 12 because you can put 12 pictures up on.
Good idea. Yeah.
Put them up on eBay, and then you could picture all 12 of them. Mm-hmm. And I would group them by, let's say you've got 12 Frank Sinatras, sell the 12 Frank Sinatras together, sell the 12 Bing Crosby together, et cetera, et cetera.
Sure.
That way you've got a reason to sell them together. But you also can show the buyer everything. And say one of them in there is a good one that you never pulled out. Well, they'll be able to see it, and hopefully you get some action on it. And one good way to tell that it's a good one is when you start getting people, I only want one out of that lot, and they all want the same one out of it. And then you go, hey, I bet that's probably a good one. And then you can go take a look. And if it doesn't have any bids on it, once you take a look and you see it's a good one, then you can take the auction down, pull that one out, relist the 11, throw the 12th one in there, and then list that one by itself. Because a lot of people will, which is crazy to me, they'll sit there and they'll try to pick that one off, hoping that you don't know that it's good. And it's like, well, wait, if 3 people ask me the same question about it, it's probably pretty good.
Write it out.
As opposed to, let me throw a bid on it. That way I have it.
Right. Yep. That's it's hard to find good ones. Well, right now it's hard to find anyone willing to work because I'm trying to find a warehouse person that can pull orders and pack orders, especially Christmas really is around the corner. So we got to start looking to teach someone that, to be efficient in that neighborhood there. So, but, we tried Indeed, we tried Monster. I had more success with Indeed for employees. I'm using a temp service now. I may have to go with a temp service again for a warehouse person just because we need someone. But it's very hard right now at this time.
Oh, it's and my day job I deal with employers, and honest to God, today I dealt with 3 employers, and 2 of the 3 mentioned that they can't find anybody to work for them.
Yeah, it's hard. And if you can, they may not be a good worker. Like, you may not even want them. It's difficult. It's stressful for sure.
I'd say probably 2/3 across the board. 2/3 of the people that I talk to out there, every one of them says I can't. 2/3 of the people say I can't find anybody. I can't find, and they're actively looking.
Yeah. Well, I told you we had 100 applicants with resumes. We narrowed it down to 10. We called all 10. 3 answered. 3 wanted interviews. We set up the dates, and then the next day, no one showed up. So 0 for 100, and that's with Indeed.
Do you have a system to work old inventory to the front of the line? Nope.
No, I really don't.
It goes to the back of the corner.
Yeah, it does go to bed. But then I say I got a pile of Nintendo games I bought 6 months ago. They're in the corner, and someone comes in with more. It'll give me a reason to buy those, find the old ones, and then list them or lot them together. So I try to do that. Or if I see something like, oh, this is good now, or this is $50, what is it doing here? Now that we have those 2 employees gone, we're reorganizing that room, and there's tons of good stuff in there. We just got to make sure everyone's capable of listing that type of stuff.
And for me, pretty much I try to list the newest stuff that comes in, just get it in and get it listed.
Yeah.
At some point, that doesn't happen because too much stuff comes in.
Yeah.
But I continue trying to list the new stuff. Every once in a while, I'll find some old box and go through it and go, oh, this is cool. How come I never listed this before?
Yeah.
And then I list it. And eventually it finds its way out to the garage. And at some point I go out to the garage and I start going through boxes saying, this is cool. Why didn't I list this before? Yeah. And a lot of the reason why I didn't list it before is either it was mediocre stuff in my head at the time out of the collection I bought, or I bought a really big collection. I just never got around to it. Yeah. Or it were things that 8 years ago, 10 years ago, 12 years ago when I picked it up, I didn't know how to list it. I didn't know necessarily what it was. I just kind of put it to the side. Well, now when I go through and I find it, I say, oh, this is really good. How come this never got listed? Now I grab it and list it. So I guess the more knowledge that I gain out of all this stuff, the more likely I am when I go out to the garage to find something good to list. Yeah,
I mean, we go with the easy or expensive. That's what we list first. So if something's easy, we knock it out. If it's expensive, we got to get it on and get some money back. So
nice. I like that. The double E. Mm-hmm. Nice. Guess what time it is?
Yep. Let's hear it.
You seem so excited about
Let's hear it. Everyone ready?
Time for the rambling story of the week. And actually, I had one written down, but then I remembered a different one. So we're going to go with a different one because it's eBay Open. So to celebrate eBay Open, I did go to eBay Open in 2019. I went there with my wife and Mrs. Papergoy. She went. She didn't actually go. She stayed in the hotel. She didn't actually go to. Was it Mandalay Bay? Mandalay Bay. Yeah. Mandalay Bay. And my father, who also sells on eBay, he went out there, and my sister. So my sister and my wife hung out, and so my father and I went to the eBay Open every day, and they were telling that they've got this last day. They've got this nice meal for everybody at the House of Blues. You party, end of the thing party. It's going to be great.
Nice.
You can bring guests, but you better hurry up and get the tickets because there's a limited number of tickets. And I can't remember if it was $70 a person or $90 a person to eat.
Okay.
And I'm going, oh, this is going to be a good meal.
Really good, yeah.
Yeah, so
drinks included, all that jazz?
Yeah, it was an open bar, yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay, good.
So I believe it was open. Yeah, I think it was. So I talked to Mrs. Papergoy and everything. She goes, we'll just find something. I said, okay, no problem. Oh my God. It literally was a buffet, but it was you ever go to a bar at happy hour and they put out a little bit of food for people?
Yes.
That was what this was.
Oh my goodness.
That's what they wanted me to pay.
It must have been packed house.
They were playing this music. They had bands playing so loud you couldn't hear yourself think. And of course, my father's 70 some years old. He can't. Luckily, my father can't hear. He actually had an advantage over me because I had to hear. So I had to hear these bands playing really, really loud. There were like 3 floors or all these different rooms going up there. The food was the only positive thing about it was they did have, back when it was first coming out, they did have the Impossible Burger. Okay. So I did try one of those. But
course
that's
you did.
literally what. But it was the little
Slider.
Yeah,
Oh, jeez.
they had sliders.
Impossible slider.
Impossible
Nice.
sliders. They had,
Jeez.
and so I started at one end, and we're all packed in there. We're all going down, and I start going down, and I'm looking, going, okay, they've got like chips and salsa. And I go to the next thing, and it was something on that level. And I look, and I go, I'm 3/4 of the way through the thing, and I haven't got any food on my plate yet because these are all appetizer food. And they're trying to charge me $90 for promising it's going to be a great time and all this kind of stuff. Because I was expecting like a sit-down meal, and they'll come by and they'll ask you, do you want steak?
Yeah,
do you
right.
want?
Well, how do you get even? A lot of shots. Whatever's open bar, you got to drink a lot, right? We are among greatness. Mike Petraglia is here.
Oh,
how's it
my
going?
goodness.
Appreciate
Thank
that.
you.
Blast from the past. I don't know where you've been the last month or so, but glad to have you back.
Radio
and I am
Pirates.
glad that I am your hero. Not many people say that. I miss you as well. Not many people say that as well. Hopefully my wife is watching and can learn some tips.
Did I ever tell you you're my hero? You're everything I want to be.
Mm-hmm.
You are the wind beneath my wings.
Did you hear about the guy that got choked out by his tie?
Nice. But yeah, so give you a little tip. If you do go to eBay Open, if they do have it live next year, or do not do the +1 for the Emil. Oh my God, it was horrible.
Right. Those odds are a lot better than the norm. Usually it's like 10-1. So I gotta sneak something in here. Just like that one.
That's very, very true. All righty. Looks like we've about come to the. Oh, we got to tell.
True. Someday.
Yeah. All right. Thanks for watching. Be sure to hit the like button. Hey, I remembered it myself for once. Do subscribe. Hit the notification button so you'll know the next time we'll go live, which it'll be 7:30 next Wednesday Eastern or 6:30 Central.
And good news, I'm back for good. No more weekend trips for baseball. So
no more camping.
I'm here to stay. Football. Good news. Football season. All the games are on Friday and Saturday, so I will not miss any live shows or any weekend shows.
Well, I'm going to show my age here real quick. They're do you know who Gordon Lightfoot is?
Yes, I do.
He's actually coming in concert.
Yeah.
And I kind of want to see him, but the concert's on a Wednesday. So I said, I'm not going. The show is too important to go to Gordon. You guys are more important to me than Gordon. I like
basically,
Gordon Lightfoot.
I'm not a good filler for you, so I don't talk enough. If we can get a random neighborhood kid to talk as much as you do, we might be all right. We could try it out.
No. Everybody here is more important to me than Gordon Lightfoot. Unless, of course, Gordon Lightfoot's watching us, in which case you're important to me too.
Nice.
All right, do check out Prime Time over on his channel. Again, he's got Thrift Shop Hustler interview talking about things you can find at thrift stores and about NFTs.
All right, hold on. Mike's didn't get his $5 worth. Supposedly, if you watch, what show is it? Paper Goy and Random Neighborhood building shelves, you might get your money's worth. So I'm going to watch that within the next 72 hours.
And that one is worth it. That one is worth it.
Nice.
All right, everybody. Thank you so much. Thank you, Radio Pirates.
Care.
Thanks, everybody. We'll see you next week.
Take care. Bye-bye.